Hi, Farzin.
Hi.
Yeah, so let's share about our perception about this emotional intelligence, how we can create this course that it will can help people to find out what is their blocks and how they can become aware of them and then replace them that with more empowering ideas.
Sure. I think it is a very important topic because we have to be aware of what's going on about ourselves. And the first pillar in emotional intelligence is self-awareness. So it is important to know what's going on inside us because whatever that is going on is reflecting on the outside. So if you want to change something, instead of going and battling with whatever that is outside, that is what people usually do. We normally, when there's something wrong, we want to fix it. But
Mhm.
that might not be the best approach. Why? Because it means that we are standing in front of the mirror, we don't like our image, and then we break the mirror. It doesn't do anything. Or imagine this, we are in the movie theater and we're watching the movie, but we don't like the movie, and we go and scratch the screen, destroy the screen.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter because the projector is still playing that movie. So if there is something wrong on the outside world, which is that screen, we have to change the movie that is playing, which is on the inside. So I give you another analogy. Our life is based on whatever we have right now in our buckets. The bucket of consciousness, the bucket of habits, the bucket of behavior, beliefs, opinions, emotions, whatever we have is creating our life. And that bucket is full. It means that that bucket has brought us to this point. Now, some people want to improve their life. They want to add to that bucket, but the bucket is already full. So you can't add anything to it. You have to create some space. So, how can we create that space? By dumping the water, dumping the bucket. So, we leave, we take things that are not necessary in our life and take it out of that bucket. The habits, the beliefs, the emotions, many things that we are carrying. Then we are leaving some room for the new consciousness to just enter in. So that is the process. And there are two different approaches to personal development. One is the path of hustle and grind. People say that when you want to achieve something, you have to fight for it. You have to go for it and fight with every inch of your existence. And then what happens is that we are battling with our subconscious mind, which is a million times stronger than us. So even if we win the battle, we lose the war and we become a wounded warrior. We cannot move far. And then some people do it, but they get a lot of scratches and wounds. And those are the traumas that they carry. And those traumas bite them in the back in the future. We might achieve a specific goal, but we are not going to be happy. We are not going to be healthy. We lose our relationships. So what is the point? So there is no point on that hustle and grind without putting, creating a good foundation for that. So that is one approach. That is creating a lot of dilemma because people go and listen to the motivational speakers and they get motivated and they move and move, but they still have those resistance. It is like you want to drive your car, your one foot is on the brake, and you use your other foot and push the gas pedal. So you are damaging the engine, you're damaging the car. And even if you be able to move a little bit, it is not a big move. It's not a smooth move. So that is what we usually do. So that is the path of hustle and grind. What is the other path? The other path is the path of imagination. So we say that we want something, we just imagine whatever we want to achieve, and then we assume the feelings, and then it creates a scenario that we move towards that goal. So we have that in the law of attraction mindset. So it might be true, but what about the inner blocks? What about the strings that are pulling us back? We have to deal with those as well. Soon as you want to move towards something, you feel that those strings even get stronger than before. So a lot of people get disappointed with those techniques of manifestation and uh, things like things that are expressed in the law of attraction and stuff. They get disappointed. Why? Because they don't work on their inner blocks first. Their bucket is full, so there is no room for the new scenario, the new image, the new situation, the new experience in their life. They're programmed to move based on whatever that is in their bucket. So my approach is a little bit different. It is not the law of attraction. It is not the path of hustle and grind. What I believe is that when we want something, there are forces that is resisting us from being there. If there not be any resistance, it means that we are at our goal already. So if there is a separation between what we are and what we want, it means that we have to work on the blocks that are in the way. Then the gap is filled. Because I believe that we don't attract what we want, we attract what we are. So whatever vibration, the dominant vibration that we have, that causes that attraction. So when we want something, that separation, that gap stays in there. And that causes problem. Why? Because that is like that pub in London, which had a sign outside that everybody gets a free beer tomorrow. So people line up the day after to get a free beer. And the owner comes out and says, "What are you doing in here?" They said that we are here for the free beer. And he says, "Did you read this sign in here?" They read it. "You get a free beer tomorrow." He says that, "Why are you here? It's not tomorrow yet." They come tomorrow, the same scenario. The gap is always there. When you want something, it means that that thing is outside you. There's a gap. So we never get that beer. We never get that to that goal. We have to fill the gap. How do we fill the gap? How do we eliminate the gap? By removing the things that are between us and our goals. So that is what I'm working on with my clients. We set the goal and we go straight into the blocks, not anything else, because there are a lot of blocks: emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, a lot of blocks. And we go and dig them out one by one. And when we dig them out, that that gap gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and at the time that the gap is disappeared, they are at their goal. So it's a different approach. It is not the law of attraction, it's not the hustle and grind. It is moving towards your goal with joy and ease. It can be a joyful process. So, and the first step is self realization, or self awareness, as it is in uh, the emotional intelligence, as one of the base pillars, self awareness. And so there are a lot of techniques that people can use for that. And when we discuss it further, it becomes easier. So people can see themselves from different perspectives and find those little things that they carry and stuff. And then the second pillar is self-regulation. Now that I know that what I'm carrying, how can I handle it? How can I deal with it? In the self-regulation, there are some processes that people can use to just handle those inner blocks or things that they are carrying. So I assume that every one of us can use that information and that techniques to be able to move forward with joy and ease, instead of hustle and grind, and instead of getting disappointed about what we want and never get to the point that we plan to, and so on. So yeah, we can discuss it further, but that was just an introduction of my approach towards the concept of emotional intelligence.
Yes, really, really very good explanation of your concept. As you said, our physical reality is just reflection of what's going inside, and people can understand what's going inside when they just understand themselves, when they study themselves, and then they know what stops them from being that person who they meant to be, because everyone already is that person. We have just to remove those viruses like viruses, layers of those blocks, doubts, fears, different limitations, everything what was put in our on our essence, like the as a folder. Yes, like a folder which we have to remove that folder, and then we will find that really golden person who we are, who everyone is, that who we really are at our as our essence, who we were born when we were small. Yes, those creatures who had faith, who believed that everything is possible, who could just dream about everything, and there was no limit. And all those limits came later. We we acqu- acquired those all limits and viruses, so called, from people, starting from parents, teachers, friends. Every time when we failed, and we believed that we were failures because we didn't just know that failure is a part of success. So there are so many different perceptions and assumptions which we did, which were not right. And that what made us believe that we have all these limitations. And then when people live and make their decisions and assumptions now, they already base them on all those limitations which they acquired during their life. And this is why it's so important to really understand who you are and how powerful we are, each of us, who you really are as the essence of your being, what you meant to be, and go from there.
Exactly. So I'm so excited about this program that we are creating for people to improve their all aspects of their life. It can be health, wealth, relationship, or happiness. And as you know, we talked about it before. I believe those four aspects are just what we can see on the outside, and they are all important. At the same time, we have to focus on all four because they are like the four tires of a car. If one is flat, you cannot move far. So, and we have to focus on the flat tire and fix it to be able to move forward. And so, fixing it from that perspective doesn't mean that we just use the band-aid solutions. We have to just go to the root cause. That is my approach. Root cause, working on the root cause, not just a band-aid. Because sometimes we use a couple of tools and techniques and we think everything is fine. But as long as the root cause is there, it is creating another dilemma somewhere else. We cannot hide those wounds. We have to heal them from inside out. So for every aspect, when people have some challenge in their life, they can just uh, do it themselves and work on it and grow and try to learn more about it and stuff. That is good because that the more we realize about whatever that is going on is like the light that is spreading over something, and we can see it from different aspects. But sometimes we need to just do something about the deeper layers that it is not visible for us. Because there are a lot of things that might be related to something. For example, we might have an imbalance in our physical body in one of the organs, but that imbalance can come from a source which is emotional or mental. It is not always physical. Something that might not show in the MRI tests, which is like something like trapped emotions. You cannot see them in MRI tests, but they are affecting our organs and they are creating that imbalance. So sometimes it is not easy to see them. That's why I use a special methods and techniques to just find those kind of things. And the address is always in our subconscious mind. When we are able to connect to the subconscious mind, we can find the source and there are ways to just clean them up. And I'm very fortunate and privileged to be able to just do those kind of services for people. And I'm so happy about it. Because before I didn't have any clue and it was frustrating. But now I can use those tools and techniques that I have developed during the time, and I use the ones that are existing and I added some into it. So the things that I use, I connect to the subconscious mind, I get the address and I just clean them up from the root cause and replace them uh, with love, basically. Love is the healing media. And so I take them out and fill them up with love. So that is the process they use. And I'm very happy about it because, when you are helping others, that is where the happiness comes. It's not when you receive something. When you do something for someone and it's affecting their life, it is such a good feeling. I cannot describe it. When one time somebody was in a hospital during the COVID. She was an old lady and she was a nurse herself, retired nurse. She got COVID and she was in the hospital. her son called me, and so they asked me what can we do and stuff. And I said that I'm gonna try. He said that my mom is in coma right now and there's no hope. Is there anything that we can do? I said that I'm gonna try my best. I don't know what the results is, but I'm gonna try my best. So, we are all connected. We are not separate. Separation is an illusion. Our mind is a block. But when we go beyond the mind at the higher consciousness, some people call it soul, some people call it infinite intelligence, some people call it soul, or whatever, it doesn't matter what you call it. When you go to that level, you are connected to everything and everyone. So I was at that level connecting to that person who was in coma. And I was able to enhance her immune system by removing those blocks. And I gradually enhanced the immune system to the level which was over 80%. And that was satisfying. She responded very well. Although she was in coma, I couldn't communicate with her directly on a physical, but I was able to enhance her immune system. And then she got out of coma and they saw no symptoms in her anymore. So hospital released her. She is still living. And that was such a chill for me. I don't know about that family and stuff, but for me, it was such an experience that you are able to bring someone from coma back to life and they are still living. So it's such a blessing. I cannot describe it.
Yes, yes, Farzin, of course, it is blessing when we can help people. And not even when it comes to that extreme, when people are in coma, but when we look at this perception that most of people look in hypnotic state and they are in coma all their lives.
Yeah, yeah.
Like from that point of view, they don't understand who they are, what they're doing. They don't have purpose in life. They don't get goals, and they just drifting every day. And they, we can say that they physically they're alive, but they're like that. They're like at that coma all the time. And when we create this program and share with people this knowledge and techniques which you just spoke about, which you implement, this can bring so many people lives. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it can awaken them up and understand who they are, what potential they have, and be awakened from that hypnotic state which Napoleon Hill explained in his book, Outwitting the Devil, which is my favorite book, when he said that people live in hypnotic state all the time, and it is they might think that when they go to hypnotherapist, he will put them in hypnosis. But actually, what is happening? It can happen the opposite. Then hypnotherapist will awaken them from that hypnotic state which they spend all their life.
Exactly. Exactly. So we think we are awake, but we are sleeping during the day, and we are even more awake at nights, but we are sleeping during the day because we are like zombies. We are just sleepwalking. We do everything on an automatic base. So we have something in our brain which is called default mode network. Everything is based on the autopilot. And sometimes we wake up. Sometimes something happens to our life it's like a shock. It wakes us up for a moment, but we go to sleep again. So the more conscious we are during the day, only those moments that us are considered to be awake. Other times you're just doing things based on an automatic process, on an autopilot. So
Yes. Mhm.
that consciousness is like a light. So it brings light to our life, and then we can bring light to other people's life as well. So we can carry that light. And that is called illumination. When somebody is going to the stage that that light comes stronger and stronger and stronger, all of a sudden there's a flame that illuminates everything. So the thing is that we all can have those moments of illumination during the day. And the higher emotional intelligence is, the more of those moments we have. And so satisfying when you are awake. And so this program, I hope, is going to be helping a lot of people to have the direct experience with those moments of be awakened.
Yes, and to receive all necessary tools to reprogram your subconscious mind, which is the main part which controls your habitual behavior, and almost of our behavior is habitual. That is why it is so important to understand what programs we have, how we were conditioned to live, to think, to act, and how, and based on what goal we have in life, what we want to achieve, we can reprogram our subconscious mind to get aligned conscious and subconscious with our goals, and then it will be also aligned with our actions.
Exactly. That alignment is very important. Like the alignment on the car. If you have two tires and you notice that they are wearing out fast, and then you go and change them, they wear out again, and then you go to the mechanic, and the mechanic says that you need alignment. Your tires are not aligned. One is moving on a different direction than the other one. That's why we get those kind of wearing out of tires. And that's the same thing happens to us when our conscious mind and our subconscious mind and our heart and our actions are not aligned. What happens is that it creates resistance, and that resistance is harming us. And so when we are in alignment, that is where we can have that experience of moving forward with joy and ease. Otherwise, there's tension, there's resistance, there's fighting, and there's wearing out, and there's burnouts. The burnout that we experience in life is a result of misalignment. When we have the alignment, everything moves smoothly.
Yes, as you explained in the beginning of our conversation, that most people live the way how they put one feet on the gas and another feet on the brakes. And this is exactly like they declare something that they want, and this is how they put feet on the gas. And then suddenly their fears, doubts, limiting beliefs, all those subconsciously programmed behaviors, they show up and they don't do anything. They just continue doing the same things or live in fear and doubt. And that is why so many people are stuck, and they just look other people and say, oh, those people are successful, but they don't think that they can be those people because they are in this loop, the same thoughts, the same feelings, the same actions, and it just goes round and they never can step out of the circle.
Yeah, when we have those blocks, we do self-sabotage. Even when we get close to whatever that we want to achieve, we do self-sabotage. We shoot ourselves on the foot. What happens is that there are statistics about people who win lotteries. They A lot of them file bankruptcy after a few years, after a couple of years. Why? Because all of a sudden they have all that wealth, but they're not ready for it because their lifestyle has changed and they are not used to it, and they're missing their old friends and their old environment and stuff. So they do something stupid to lose all that wealth subconsciously, and then it helps them to just get back to the level that they were before. So it all happens on a subconscious level, unconscious level. So self-sabotage, we do self-sabotage when if we are not ready. If the foundation is not there yet, we do self-sabotage, even if somebody hands in whatever we need or we want.
Yes, that's why there is always the proportion, equal proportion of money which come in life that is proportional to the value that person has. And if the value is not equal, that money will be lost. Yeah, as you said,
Yeah,
subconsciously people even don't understand, but they will do stupid things to lose everything to get again that balance right.
exactly.
Thank you
So
so
very good.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anything else you want to share?
Uh, I think it is a good introduction to whatever we are planning to do, and we are getting together to just spread that wisdom that there are ways, better ways. There are better ways. That is my message. There are better ways. We
Yeah, there
don't
are.
need to go through the hustle and grind to achieve something and experience the burnout. We don't need to just dream about something that is not aligned with what whoever we are and always have that resistance, fighting with that resistance. There are better ways, and we are expressing that better ways for people so they have the option to choose. Now, instead of two options, which is the path of hustle and grind and the path of the law of attraction with in in not a very, you know, I don't underestimate the law of attraction, but I say that you attract who you are, not what you want. You attract what you are, not what you want. So we have to become energetically, innerly, that thing. We have to become one with our target. And that is the process that they can use. So people have more choices now with this that we are expressing. If
Mhm.
those two that we explained doesn't work for them, there is a better option. And we are going to bring on the table that option so people can take it and go for it and then improve their life in a
Yeah,
joyful manner, in an easy manner, not with those fighting and struggling and so on.
yeah, so by other words, when we speak about the law of attraction, it is how you can become that person to start attracting everything what is in alignment.
Exactly. So we are just adding things to the law of attraction that maybe was dropped out of it. So to make it a way that it should be, we have to deserve something first to have it. How do we deserve something first in order to have it? The deservefulness is inside, it's not outside. We have to have enough container, a large container to just contain that thing that is we are desiring. So we have to expand our container. And we have to just clean up that container. If something is not working in that container, we can drop it out. And then it's going to be filled with whatever we desire.
Yes, and prerequisite of this is your desire. Yes, like your desire really to live life with fulfillment, to not just be mediocre, but really have that ambition to achieve big goals because you can. You already were born and you deserve everything the best. You just need to find the way how to do it in the effortless way. And this is what we are going to help you with.
Exactly. So when somebody is not passionate about having a better life, not me, not anything else, nobody can help that person. So that is the first step. You have to be passionate about improving your life. You have to have that kind of feeling that I'm not fully satisfied with whatever I have because I can be more, I can do more, and I can have more. Why? Because there is something called plus factor. Plus factor says that there's no end. Everything is expanding. Everything. Like a plant. The plant either grows or dies. There's no in between. Sometimes it slows down in winter, but it grows again. But the thing is, we have to have that feeling for expansion. Then we are going to be expanding like the whole universe. So the whole universe is expanding. That is, the science says that the universe is expanding. And everything that is in the universe can be part of that expansion. So when we have that feeling that I want that to be part of that expansion, then you can get access to that expansion. Otherwise, if you say that, no, I don't want to be part of that expansion, we either move forward or backward. Because if we stand still, the life is expanding. It means that we are moving backwards compared to life. So we can choose. The choice is always ours, which direction we want to go, forward or backward. And it's always good to have choices. Because when you are consciously choosing something, you know what you're doing. But most of the time, we are on the sleeping mode. We are not choosing. We are not in the state of choice. Everything is predetermined based on the programming, the emotions, the thoughts, the beliefs, the opinions. So we're not choosing. Well, when it comes to the choice, it is always good because whatever choice you make, it determines how far you can go. I believe we always have a choice in every moment. We can choose love or we can choose fear. There are two roads in front of everyone. At every moment, we can choose love or we can choose fear. But even being conscious to choose one of those is better than not being conscious and automatically choose the path of fear. If you consciously choose the path of fear is better than unconsciously, because the default is the path of fear all the time. Why? Because we have something in our brain, which is called reptilian brain. Reptilian brain is based on the path of fear. Because we were in the jungle long ago, we were living in the caves and stuff. Every movement of every leaf would cause a potential danger that could kill us. A tiger behind the tree could just attack us. So we had to be on our toes all the time. We still carry that reptilian brain, and that is the default that we have, going through life with that fear. And that is for our protection as well, physical protection. It is sometimes just too much. We're always living in that fear. So there is no room for expansion. So when we become aware of that, we can choose. Because we notice that a lot of fears are just imaginary things. For example, the stress about the future. We make a worst case scenario in our head for things that hasn't even happened yet. And we put ourselves in that stress mode. And that stress mode affects every aspect of our life, health, joy, and it steals everything. So that is the default. We're always in that scenario. Reptilian brain is dominant unless we wake up and we notice that we don't need to stress over things that hasn't happened yet. If it happens, I deal with it. If it hasn't happened yet, why am I making a big deal out of it? So it changes our perspective. When you are aware, you don't stress over things that hasn't happened yet. But when we are on the automatic mode, there is no choice. On default, we go and choose that stress mode and make the worst case scenario in our head, and it affects our life. So that's why it is important to have those kind of moments to be awake, be more illuminated, be more in that state that you can recognize things that is happening inside. So that is what we offer, to
Yes, and
have more of those moments.
yeah, and once you come to the light from the cage, you will not want to go there again. This is a
Exactly.
guarantee. Yeah, because when you grow in the, you get in different frequency, you start seeing so different this world. So you look back and you don't even recognize how you could live before without that. And you can never go back. You just can go forward and discover even more. This
Yeah,
is our plan to help you with.
exactly.
Thank you, Farzin. So I'm looking forward for our first episode in our program.
Sure, sure. I'm looking forward to it too.